All right, welcome back, Florida Football Insiders Podcast. All right, we gave you the recaps of the games last week, but let's dive a little deeper to the big upset up in Gainesville. We're going to talk USF Florida. We're going to talk a little Florida State, a little Miami USF coming up. No better person to talk all things state of Florida college football, guy that's been dialed into the college football scene for going on 30 years in this era, a former player back in the day, back down in Hollywood, Florida, a little QB action, host of the JP Peterson show. JP Peterson, welcome back, sir.
Man, we're dialing it back to my old QB days with Danny McManus. Danny McManus.
Mike Mattis. Now were you a three wide pocket passer? You could run a
Oh,
little
good
bit. What were
God,
you?
bro! I wish we had three pass plays. My dumbass coach, Mister Outside Veer, we literally had three pass plays. We had a bootleg to a tight end, a seam
Waggle,
pass,
QB
rollout,
waggle.
waggle, QB. I mean, I literally had to draw up plays in the dirt. When if I came in and we were down, I'd be like, okay, let's do this hitch and go thing and throw a touchdown pass and come to the sideline. And my defensive minded running coach would be like, what the hell was that? And I'm like, it's called a passing play, coach.
It's called a touchdown.
Come on. This is what you get. This is the offense you got in 1981, South Broward High School. So good luck. I went to Florida State, became an intramural legend quarterback. That's where I really learned the passing game, baby. I was coming up with things they had to outlaw. I was coming up behind under center and flipping the ball out, and they're like, you can't do that anymore. What? What are we
It's called
doing?
RPO. RPO, baby.
But this is not about my career. This is about the South Florida Bulls.
That's it, baby. All right, we got breaking
Not where you're
news
starting.
as we are starting this interview. Looks like Rob Higgins, a guy who's a central figure in the Tampa Bay Sports Committee with the Tampa Bay Sports Commission. Looks like he's going to be named the new Chief Athletic Officer, University of South Florida. I know you know Rob a little bit, a lot of the events he's brought to the area. Give me a little thought on Rob Higgins as the new CEO at USF.
CEO, how about that? It's not even athletic director anymore. Couldn't have a better choice. This is a guy that is so extremely well connected throughout college football and professional football. Obviously knows how to run a business, knows what entertainment is all about, knows about promoting events, everything that University of South Florida needs. They need a business guy. They need a guy that knows about big events, who's, clued into the major players in college football through the national championship. As we go into this 2030, 2029 expansion, wherever it goes, USF is primed to move into a much bigger category, whatever it's going to be. And having somebody that knows the lay of the land, like Rob Higgins, I think is huge for them. So, I mean, they've got, they're winning football games now. That's something that they had to have. They had to go into Gainesville and beat a top 25 team, top 15 team, and they beat a top 25 team in Boise State.
Yep.
And now they go to Miami. And Lord, if they get that one, I mean, already, even if they drop at Miami and win their conference, they're going to the playoff.
Yes.
They're going to the playoff. That win at Florida is huge. Now, hopefully the Gators, and I think they'll be fine this year. I think that, they're not going, I don't think they're winning 8 games, but if they win 7 on this schedule, it's a huge accomplishment for Napier.
Yeah.
So, and I think a lot of people are dogging the Gators for losing to USF. This ain't the same old South Florida. Yep. This ain't the same old South Florida. That loss is not going to look very bad if they go in and beat Miami and run the table in their conference, or even go competitive with Miami and run the table in their conference. This is a really good team. Byron Brown is the real deal. He is the absolute real deal. He is impossible to tackle. He's Cam Newton. I mean, he is Cam freaking Newton. He's got a howitzer for an arm. He's starting to be a little bit more consistent with his throw, but his running ability just can dominate a game. And this USF defense is for real. They come up and knock your D in the dirt. They've got 2 inside linebackers, Jalen Schuler and Higgs, the other guy.
Yeah.
The 2 of them are just really good collegiate linebackers, smart, instinctive, great tacklers. They finally got some beef up front, which is something they've never had defensively.
And some depth up there, too.
Depth, yes. So, yeah, I could not be more. I was at the Boise State game. I watched the Florida game. We'll talk a little bit about the Florida side here in a minute. But as far as USF goes, this is a really, really good football team. This is no fluke. They beat the brakes off at Boise State, who I think is
Yes.
going to be a pretty decent team. And they went into Florida and won in a tight game. So they're going to Miami to win. They're not afraid. But this should be the year that Golish and USF finally wins their first conference championship. So they get that. And now they've got an athletic director or a CEO that knows how to maneuver them into whether it be the next iteration of the ACC, whether it be the Big Ten, who knows?
Right.
But win games, build stadiums, and Rob Higgins will take the rest. He'll figure it out. So
And the
I think
stadium's
USF's in a really good spot.
Stadium's coming in 2 years. They're under
Yep.
construction, and that process has got going. For me, I'm with you. The defense is where this is massive improvement. The offense has always been good, and we know if Byron can stay healthy, he's going to be a good player. But that defense, man, they've not been able to stop people the last couple of years. This defense is real. And again, to hold Florida to 15, 16 points in the swamp, and I know DJ didn't play great, but a lot of that was because of the USF defense.
DJ may need to get some of that Ozempic. I don't know. I thought he was a defensive tackle playing quarterback. Otherwise, who's that guy? He's a biggin.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously he's not. He hasn't been able to get into shape because of all the injuries, and I think he's super talented. And I just think this was more about USF than it was about Florida. Even though, listen, you can't be spitting in people's faces at that point of the game. But I don't know what was worse, that or the two passing play calls that were previous to that. I just don't. I think Billy Napier does a lot of things right. He is not a great game coach.
No.
I think that's pretty evident. He is not a very good game manager. And listen, if you're going to be the head coach of Florida, you got to do everything right. You got to win games. This schedule has been absolutely ridiculous as it was last year. But hey, you're in the SEC. You're at the University of Florida. You have all the advantages. You have all the money. You have access to the best talent in the nation. You don't have any excuses. A tough schedule is a reason. I get it, but he's recruited well. But you got to put it. You got to put it out there. You got to put it out there.
Yeah. All right. Let's get to Napier a little bit. Obviously, they go to LSU this week, go to Miami next week, and then a bye week. Is there a scenario if they don't play well the next 2 weeks and get beat soundly, Napier's out at the bye week?
I don't think they'll quick trigger that quickly because of last year when he had made the run at the end of the year. I think you got to give him time. Again, it's a really tough. How do they play in these games?
Right.
Do they take them to the wire? That makes a difference.
Sure.
Do they get blown out? They get blown out in both of these games. Okay. I think we could start, looking for, where to find John Gruden. And don't say Alex Golish. Don't even. Because if you do, these USF people will hunt you down and they will beat you to a pulp. I mean, it's like, don't even mention. And you know what? To some degree, I'm with them on this. Like, don't ruin my season by every time we win a game talking about where Alex Golish is going next.
Right.
And I get that. It's obvious. He's going to be a heavy candidate, so let's not talk about it. It is what it is. Let's just enjoy the season. And, to hear Golish talk, he loves him some USF now. He loves him. He loves what's going on there. Maybe he'll stick it out. I don't know, but we're not supposed to talk about that. So it's off the table. I'm not talking about it. You're not talking about it.
How do you think USF, last question on USF, and then we'll move on. How do you think USF handles expectation now? Everybody, they're the darlings now. Even if they lose to Miami, everybody's going to say, win your conference games, and they're going to be favored in almost all of them.
Yep.
How do you think they handle the pressure of being the favorite now?
We'll see. I don't think they've, just from last year when they had a little bit of success, they threw a couple turds out there, like big time. But this ain't the same old South Florida. This is a much different, talented team. But I think you're right on. That's what it's all about. It's funny. It takes an incredible effort to get a win like that, and it's a long time coming. It didn't happen overnight. It's a lot of building, practicing, a lot of that stuff. Good coaching. But when you get there, what do? How do kids handle it? It's tough. They're young kids. They start reading their press clippings.
Everybody on campus says how great they are.
Oh, so that's a challenge. It's a challenge. You've been the hunters for so long, and now you're the hunted when you're going into conference play. We'll see.
One last question. How do you think USF handles the Coach Levitt situation? Those of you that don't know, Coach Levitt was
Oh
arrested a
God.
couple of weeks ago.
Pass.
He's supposed to go in the Hall of Fame here next month. How do you think USF handles this situation?
How do I think they handle it? Well, it's interesting because I had somebody tell me that in his settlement, it specifically says that he is to get his deserved honors and legacy, which means putting it into the Hall of Fame.
Right.
So now, obviously, this is an extenuating circumstances. And by the way, let's let this get adjudicated.
Sure.
It's
Sure.
it's that people say, oh, assault and battery on a woman and theft, and okay. So what I've been told is he bought this
He bought the
woman.
purse,
He bought
probably.
the purse. And by the way, I saw them at a party the week before. How do I say this politely about this woman who was mean mugging my wife the whole time? She
Uh-oh.
did not seem like a very nice person. Let's just put it that way.
Okay.
I'm not making any excuses. I wasn't there, but let's get away from the assault and battery. He
Right.
grabbed the purse and pushed the dude away. You know,
Yeah.
I don't. Let's let this get adjudicated before we start throwing Jim Levitt under the bus. Again, it's probably very much like the Joel Miller situation. He didn't handle it the right way, but it never needed to get where it got, in my opinion, for either one of the people. And
Right.
it's sad that it did. It's sad that the whole story is awful. The fact that Joel Miller eventually took his life, and
Yeah.
he had a lot of things going on, and it's a tragic, awful story. And I wanted it to just end with Jim Levitt getting his just due
Yeah.
and what he did for that program. One, emotional mistake in a bad moment should not define Jim Levitt's career. All right. So I don't know. It's a lot of messy. All I know is Jim Levitt was a hell of a football coach at USF. He did things there they still have not been able to replicate.
Right.
He's a good man.
He
He
is.
means well. He gets a little emotional at times, but I just wish we could just get him in the Hall of Fame. How will they handle it? I don't know. I think they'll probably delay it or something.
Yeah, I'm with you. I could see them delaying it, maybe not this year, maybe another year, maybe when the stadium opens,
Let
something
time
like
heal.
that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
When stuff kind of settles down a little, because I've had him on this podcast a bunch of times, and off the field and off camera, super nice guy. Like
Oh,
you
he's the
said,
best.
the
He's the best.
emotional part of him as a competitive coach and all that. It's sometimes it bleeds into your personal life, and that ain't great.
Yeah,
But super nice guy. I hope, like I said, hope everything works out for coach and
agreed.
all that stuff. All right, let's go to Miami again. 2-0. Cupcake last week, great win against Notre Dame. USF coming to town this week. I think USF winning last week is a good thing for Miami this week. There's no more, uh-oh, are they any good? They know they're good. Give me a thought or two about what you've seen out of Miami.
I like what they did against Notre Dame. That to me, I didn't think they would win that game. I think that was Notre Dame is a tough football team. They're going to play you physically, and I thought Miami answered the bell. They
Yep.
answered the bell in some serious in some pressure situation. I mean, Carson Beck obviously has been there, done that. I don't think he's a great talent, but I think he's a pretty damn good college quarterback,
Right.
and he can get you. Now he's not Cam Ward good. Cam Ward brought them back in a few games that they probably should have lost.
Yep.
I don't think Beck is that guy. So but I think this overall team is better. They're better up front offensively. Their
Yep.
offensive line is better. I think defensively they're better. So I think it's just an overall better team, except at the quarterback position. Is he good enough to take them to 9-10 wins? Absolutely. Absolutely he is. But you're just like me, I'm sure. And the question mark is what? It's Cristobal.
That's it.
Let's go. When's he going to get out coached? When's he going to do something stupid in a close game? When's that going to happen? When is Miami going to lose a game they should win?
Right.
Right? Or two. So until they can do that, I'm not going to be sitting here going, oh, hand Miami the ACC. Never won it. I've never won it. And listen, USF, last week, if you did not take the 18.5 at Florida, shame on you.
Right.
Shame on you. I told everybody, the house, your friend's house, everybody's house, bet it. It's 18.5 this week again?
Something
At
like
Miami?
that. Yep.
Are you effing kidding me? Take it. Take
Take
it.
it.
This USF team is a good football team.
They are.
And from what I've heard, they did not get beat up last week at Florida. They didn't have a whole bunch of injuries. So I think they got it. I think they got a shot to go into Miami and do something.
Yep.
Do something. And if they win that game, holy Christ,
They'll be
they should be
top.
number
They'll
one
be
in the
top 10
nation.
of the country.
They should be number one.
They
You know,
do have the
three.
hardest 3-week schedule in America
Yeah.
the first 3 weeks of the
You
year.
go win at Florida, at Miami, and beat Boise
Boise.
34-7. You should be number one.
All right. Transitioning Miami. Again, no Clemson, no Georgia Tech on the schedule for Miami, but there is a looming showdown in
Dun,
about
dun,
a
dun.
month,
Dun,
potentially
dun,
in
dun, dun,
Tallahassee.
dun, 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 dun,
How
dun,
about that? Wouldn't that be something if they are both
dun.
undefeated going into that matchup in October, obviously early October, back to the glory days of FSU Miami.
I was there for the Alabama game, brother. Let me tell you what, it was 1994 all over again. 1993, that place was jumping.
Yep.
It sounded louder with less people.
Right.
And God bless the students for 2 weeks in a row. They have packed it and not left. God bless the students for kicking ass. Look, week one was a beatdown of Alabama. It's so impressive from a physical standpoint, from a mental standpoint. They did everything right. And I was shocked to be. I thought they'd be competitive, but I didn't think they would bully Alabama.
Yep.
And they did. And I said, okay, well, that's, and it wasn't a fluke. It wasn't a bunch of turnovers. It wasn't a bunch of, bad penalties or anything like that. They manhandled them up front in the run game and stopping the run. The defense has been incredible. Tony White has done a great job with these guys, turned them from a bunch of wussies. I normally use the P word on my show, but for your show, I'll go with the W word. From a bunch of wussies to guys who can come up and pop you. I mean, Earl Little Jr., Juice Cryer, Daryl Jackson is playing at a new level. I mean, it's fun to watch, and they are attacking. And listen, even Tommy Castellanos with a couple of really good deep throws this past weekend to Deuce Robinson.
Yep.
I mean, I know it's 77 against East Texas A&M, Sisters of the Poor. I get it. You scored 10 straight times. I mean, that's what you do when you're a dominant top 5 team. That's what we've seen them do before.
Yes.
So it means something to me. You do. Look, SMU scored 42 on this team. They beat them 42-13. We beat them 77-3.
Yeah.
77-3.
Right.
So it matters. It really matters. It's not just a nothing game. So I love Florida State, and I see they'll both be undefeated in maybe in the top 5, definitely top 10, because I don't think either one of them's losing until they get to October 4th in Tallahassee.
That will be ESPN prime time, brother. That'll be Herb Street and Fowler. That might be game day in the building.
I don't know. You know how ESPN reviles FSU. I don't think they're ever going to. If they don't do game day that week, then they'll never do it. So I wouldn't pencil that in. I might pencil it in, but I'm not using a Sharpie. That's for sure.
2 things I've been super impressed with FSU in the first 2 weeks. One, seems like they're playing for the name on the front of the jersey, not the back, like it was last year. And 2, the competitive spirit, the effort, the physicality, as you mentioned, all those little intangible things, other than how many stars a certain player is. That's the part that I've loved to see, is how again, when Alabama went down the field 8 minutes, first drive of the game, you said, uh-oh, here we go again. Nope. Mm-hmm. They turned it around, scored immediately, and dominated the rest of the game. That's what I love to see out of that FSU team in week 1.
Well, they've got some leaders now, on the field. Castellanos, and I ripped him for the stupid things he said.
Yeah.
But you know what? He backed him up, and the guys backed him up. They got behind him. Yep. They didn't run from it. And I loved on game day this week, I think it was Pat McAfee who looked over when they were talking about FSU, and he says, in Alabama, they said, yeah, and Coach, you ain't there to save them. I was like, nice. Nicely done.
Give me a thought. Last couple things. Give me a thought about Scott Frost at UCF. You think this is going to, obviously this year probably won't be the year. This is a rebuild part, but do you like him being back in Orlando with his connections and this seems like the kind of job he can excel in.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know much about the program. I don't follow them, to be quite honest. I got my hands full with the other guys.
Yeah.
So I don't really follow them. My UCF people, Nick Geddes, who works with me, who worked with you at UCF, he works for On3 Sports now. He's not a believer.
Okay.
Most of my UCF people who know the program, they're kind of, they're kind of cockeyed looking at it like, I don't know. So we'll see. Could they have hired somebody better? Probably not. I think it could be a situation where it's just a really good fit, but we'll see. But I'll be honest with you. I don't know a whole lot about it.
All
I won't
right.
pretend to.
All
I could
right.
fake it if you want it, but I
No,
won't.
I don't, no faking. We're no faking it here. No faking. Last thing we'll get you out of. Give me a thought or two about we talk a little NFL here too as well. Bucks, Jags, Dolphins. The Dolphins were a dumpster fire.
Oh,
Jags and Bucks very
boo.
impressive over the weekend. Give me a thought. Let's start in Miami. Is that just a house of cards getting ready to
Yeah.
crash and crumble?
Yeah, Miami's always kind of been a front runner town, and it kind of the Dolphins are kind of that way. When Tua's going, it's a vibe. But when they struggle a little bit, they just melt down. They just melt down. They have no resolve. They're like Miami. It's all sizzle, no steak, baby. That's the city of Miami. Now it's that, and that's the Dolphins. Now over here in Tampa, it's a totally different thing. We got a little sizzle, but there's lots of steak. There's lots
Yep.
of stake here. This is a really good roster. Listen, they went out. Baker was rusty, didn't have his usual accuracy, wasn't checking it down early on like he normally does, and gave up, probably those 2 3 and outs should not have been. He had some checkdowns, and he admitted to all this. Baker played about his C game.
Yep.
Okay. You had a completely revamped offensive line, 3 new starters in positions, not new
That
starters,
nobody
but
knew was coming.
nobody knew it was coming. They've worked on it for 2 weeks. Okay. That's a hard thing to do. And I thought they played really well.
Yep.
I mean, the run game did not produce, they had 100 yards. It had about 25 yards called back. So it could have looked a little better on the stat sheet. But the running game was a little meh. But they 260 yards and no turnovers and still won the game. Like, I think the chances of that happening in this league are about 5%. So they made the plays when they had to make them. The throw from Baker
Was sick.
to Ibuka was, from a tight pocket. The ball placement on that, unbelievable. His first touchdown, the ball placement on that.
Perfect.
And Ibuka, we've talked about this, how good he has been from the very beginning. But those 2 catches in traffic, those are veteran catches. Rookies drop those passes all the time.
Yep.
They're just, but he doesn't. This guy's as polished a receiver as I've seen. So I think the Bucks played about their C+ game and got a division win on the road. I mean, you can't ask for much more than that. There's a lot to work on. The defense wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be, but they held them to 20 points.
Yeah.
So, and they kept them out of the end zone in the last drive. So a lot to like about this team in terms of their resolve and their maturity in the clutch. And I think they won the game. Could say they were lucky to win in a couple spots. I get it, but it's a dub. Jacksonville Liam Cohen is a really, really good offensive mind.
I agree.
I didn't see the whole game, but just the highlights that I saw and the numbers that I saw, he knows the run game. He knows the freaking run game. He took us from 32 to 4. So that's going to be a huge improvement, and it's going to make Trevor Lawrence better.
Yep.
And obviously their defense looked pretty good. So I think Jacksonville's on the come, no question about it. Miami's the dumpster fire, and the Bucks are going to the NFC Championship.
I'm with you. I think.
So there you go.
I love it. I love it. JP Peterson, host of the JP Peterson Show, Fan Stream Sports, Monday through Fridays, 10 to 12, 10 a.m. to 12 noon Eastern, live and on demand. Tell everybody where they can find you online and all the good stuff you're doing.
It always as a podcast as well, so you can listen back to today's show, which was amazing. Had Scott Reynolds on for the Pewter Report and the great TJ Reeves, sideline reporter. Always have the best guests. If you're into Tampa Bay sports at all, we cover it all, from the Rays to I work for the Lightning, Rays, Lightning, Bucks, all the college football. It's all here. We do 2 hours each and every day. So come join us on the JP Peterson Show, whether it's live or on the pod.
And
Thank
what
you, man.
Lightning's what, about 6 weeks away from starting?
Oh, hell no, bro. End of the month, we got preseason games.
All right.
Yeah, so no, the regular season opener is less than a month away.
And it's not Amalie Arena anymore. It's what?
Benchmark International Arena. Do not call it the bench. Do not call it the mark. Do not call it BMI. It's Benchmark or whatever. Sorry, it's BIM. It's Benchmark International. That's what I got. The news today in the email from my boss. Do not call it the bench. Do not call it the mark. So there you go.
JP does a great job between periods, the in-game entertainment, all that great stuff. He's awesome doing what he's doing. Got a couple new guys. You got Pat Maroon joining the
That's
organization,
right. Yeah.
back with the organization. And again,
And then
Lightning should
it's
be.
on free TV this year. You can watch it over the air. Go get you some rabbit ears, some HD rabbit ears if you need to. At any cable system you're on, anything with local channels, you can watch it. It's called The Spot this year. So great move by the Lightning. I think the Rays will follow suit next year.
Last thing on the Rays, what do you think is going to happen? Are they going back to St. Pete next year? What's the
Oh, well,
short
next
term
year.
plan?
Yeah, they're gonna play in the Trop for at least 2 more seasons. Hopefully that's it. And then we have a new stadium in 29, maybe 3 more seasons, and a new stadium in 29, probably in the Ybor Harbor area. But now we're talking about the HCC right across
Right, I
from
saw that. Yep.
Raymond James Stadium. So, and by the way, if you saw the note on Sternberg getting 10%, he has nothing to do with any decision making. He's just a minority partner that has no say in anything. So don't worry about that. It's the new group. It's going to be awesome. New stadium, new marketing, putting the money back into the team instead of putting it in his pocket. It's going to be fantastic.
And
A
I
whole new day.
give JP full credit. He was at the front end of this story with this new ownership group. So
We
kudos
nailed
to
it.
you for being all over it. And when all that happened here, the
We
last.
break stories too on the live stream and the podcast. We do all kinds of fun stuff.
You got it, man.
Yeah.
JP Peterson, keep up the great work, man. We'll be in touch.
Thanks,
JP
Jason.
Peterson
Love
Show
being on
10 to
anytime, brother. You
12.
do a great job. Thank you.
Appreciate you. We'll see you next time on the Florida Football Insiders Podcast.